Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. I played that one because it had Britney in it, but it kind of had Summer and everybody in it. So I kind of played that one. And when we watch a video, I got one dedicated especially to Britney because I'm going to show like where I had interviewed her mom. So we're going to have some trigger warnings on this one. And, let's just kind of keep the chat, if we can, um, respectful and have some trigger warnings, put out here and there. But everybody deserves to be found, and it is again National Missing Child's Day, still May 25th, 2025. And I started off with Sebastian Wayne, Drake Rogers today. I come on with Haley Cummings, and I would like to end it with Britney Woods from Alabama. But hello, everybody. Hello, Millie RN. Beautiful Millie here. And we have H. Davis, and we have our beautiful Janice and Cinderella, and our beautiful Kiki, True Crime. And we have our beautiful Grace Paris. And we have, thank you for that, Millie. And we have our H. Davis and everybody that's watching. I know there is a lot of people live tonight and a lot's going on. And listen, I was posting over on Twitter just a minute ago, and I saw this, and I thought you should know this. The Proudfoots sent out a message, and I think it's only fair that I share this with y'all. I took a screenshot, and this was sent out at 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it says, "Please let everyone know that we have been listening all day. We are so grateful to see all those who care about the missing. We are blown away by the precipitation of everyone. There is always a flame that burns for every missing. Families are waiting for that day where they are reunited with their loved ones. We pray and we hope all the fundraising will help NCMEC bring closure to everyone. May God bless and spread love to everyone from our family to yours. Love, Chris and Katie." Oh, I thought that was so sweet. So, there's that. Okay, so there's that. And I thought that was fair that I shared that with y'all. And they are seeing everything that everybody is putting out today. And they put a note out and they sent it out. So they hope all missing children are found. No, they didn't say Sebastian, but they just said there's always a flame that burns for every missing. Families are waiting for that day that they are reunited with their loved ones. We pray and hope that all the fundraising will help. Okay. Anyway, thank you for being here tonight. Let me get back to this, and let me tell you, I appreciate each and every one being here because, like I said earlier today, that anybody can probably watch or come in at a later time, be on rerun. It could even be a month later and a year later. We never know who might see these things and they find the missing. We never know. So welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my last live for tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here again with me and watching whoever comes in on the replay. Please hit the thumbs up for me if you will. And again, as you know, today, May 25th, is National Missing Children's Day. And I wanted to go over again some things with Britney Woods. I interviewed her mother back last year, and this is a very devastating story. There's a lot of trauma in it, I will tell you now, but there's a lot of unanswered questions. Oh, you're welcome, Millie. Everybody deserves to be found, right? But there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's things on here I will tell you that are trigger warnings. And this story has really affected not only a community in Alabama, an entire state, and an entire nation, if you will. It tore an entire family apart, and it peeled back layers of horrific secrets. And it's a story about this beautiful girl on here, a young lady, and her name is Britney Wood. She was just 19 years old when she went missing. She disappeared from her home in Mobile, Alabama in May of 2012. Now, just think about that for a minute. Think about that age. You're just right there. You're right on the edge of adulthood. And you have so much life in front of you, so much life ahead of you. Now, Britney was this young, beautiful woman, just 19. She was someone's daughter. She was someone's mother, actually. She was someone's sister. She had big dreams. She had a future in front of her. And then she had all that snatched away from her. The last time she was ever seen, it was with her uncle, Donnie Holland. But the details are very alarming. That's to say the very least. I'm not even sure alarming would be or should be used, because that's it's just minimal to what the details are. It was, they said, a hazy day, kind of chilly. And what we know is after she was seen with him, she was gone. There was no more Britney. But that's not even the half of it. Yeah, and she had a little girl, Kiki. She had a baby. But that's not even the half of it. You're going to see. Trust and believe. They did find her phone battery, and even a pew-pew were later found by Donnie Holland's car, or in his car. I can't remember. But then things got worse. It took a complete dark twist. This story is unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. On May 30th of 2012, Britney left her home telling her mother she was going to visit a friend. Okay. But it was later revealed that she met her Uncle Donnie Holland Sr. at Six Rivers. Six Rivers. And that's where the phone records showed 2 days after Britney disappeared. And Donnie was found with her pew-pew, and he was shot in the head, and he was still alive from that, the best I remember. He passed away shortly after, but it was ruled a S-side, okay? But that raised a lot of suspicions, especially since Britney's cell phone battery, and that was in his truck. Now, this is where it's about to get very dark and secrets start to unravel as the police investigate, okay? This is where it gets very dark, okay? It uncovered a family-run sex abuse ring involving multiple relatives. Okay, now trigger warnings. And please, I want y'all to keep in mind, until you hear the story, I want you to keep in mind in the comments, and keep in mind, I had to keep reserved as well, but I want y'all to remember, and I will show y'all here shortly, because I did interview Britney's mom, and she did allow me to interview her. And you have to hear the story. She may be watching, I don't know. And if she is, that's okay. She's welcome in here. She's also welcome to take another link. I believed her story, to be honest. Yeah, it was Millie, and I believed her story. And I still believe her to this day. But I just want to keep opinions. You're allowed to have your opinions, but I just want people to hear the full story before they. I just want things to be respectful. That's all I ask. Just be respectful. She was very open, and I think she was very brave to tell her stories. And also, one reason I would like you to be respectful is because there is one reason. There's Britney's daughter that the daughter is with the dad, and I guess the grandma, the other side, but she could be watching, and there's a lot of kids and brothers and sisters. It's a complicated situation, but the bottom line is Britney's missing, and Britney is a victim. So, and her name needs to be kept out there. Okay. So I just ask that everybody can have their own opinion and think what they want, just as I can. And just remember, there's trigger warnings, and just be respectful. That's all that I ask. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to a couple of news stories to kind of fill y'all in, and then we will go over, my interview that I had with her mom, so y'all will know. But again, Britney is the victim here, okay? So that's why I wanted to close with this one. And again, there is trigger warning. So let's do this. All right, let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, true crime.
Expose her twisted family's sex trafficking ring, but she suddenly went missing before she could talk to the police. So did the family kill Britney Wood to hide their secrets? Or did she take justice into her own hands before fleeing into the night? Welcome to True Crime Recaps. I'm Amy. The last time anyone saw 19-year-old Britney Wood, she was leaving her mother's home in Mobile, Alabama. She had a pink tote bag with some belongings tossed over her shoulder. According to her mother, Chessie, Britney was in a good mood. It was the last time Chessie ever saw her daughter again. Britney said she was visiting a friend, but that was a lie. Instead, she was meeting her uncle Donnie at the end of the road. They had some family drama to settle. You see, Uncle Donnie was the mastermind behind an incest sex ring in southern Alabama. When Britney was little, about 13 years old, she endured sexual abuse at the hands of her grandmother's boyfriend and other adults, both male and female, but mostly family. Young Britney was the unwilling star in several graphic videos that other family members confessed to watching. Even Britney's mother was charged in connection. No one in the family was safe. According to court testimony, one victim remembered losing her virginity to her own father when she was only. Sexual abuse in the family carried on for 3 generations. 3. Now, Britney wanted to end the horror, but she may have paid the ultimate price. She went missing on May 30th, 2012, and has never been seen or heard from again. Police in Mobile, Alabama insisted her disappearance had nothing to do with the sex trafficking ring. But where there's smoke, there's fire. What happened to Britney Wood? How close was she to exposing the truth? And did her twisted family members kill her to hide their evil deeds? Britney Nicole Wood was born on September 25th, 1992. She grew up in a big family with plenty of skeletons in the closet. Her oldest brother, Derek, was both a victim and an abuser. He claims Donnie and Wendy Holland, he and Britney's aunt and uncle, coerced him into sexual acts with them and their when he was as young as 6. When he was older, Donnie plied Derek with money and booze and manipulated him into abusing his younger cousins. The extent of Britney's abuse is unclear. We know she was abused, and there were videos and photos on Donnie's computer showing her being assaulted by adults. After 3 generations of abuse, Britney's uncle, Randall Scott Wood, decided to blow the whistle. Now, little did he know that Britney was getting ready to flip on them herself. The beginning of the end started at the end of February in 2012. Scott landed a new job that required him to relocate to Alabama, and he moved in with Donnie and Wendy. That's when Scott finds a message on the family computer addressed to Donnie and Wendy's young daughter. It reads, "You give a good blowjob for a 12-year-old." Scott goes to the police to report the alleged abuse. He then goes to live with Chessie, maybe afraid that his life is in danger. They stay up for 3 days and 3 nights while Scott fills Chessie in on everything he's learned. At the same time, Britney has already said that she's willing to talk with police. However, she keeps that secret from her family, especially with Uncle Scott in the house. That's because Britney's talking to an unnamed cousin over Facebook Messenger. The cousin says Donnie, Scott, and their Uncle Kent have all raped her. Now, Britney is a young mother herself. She has a 2-year-old daughter who means everything to her. It's very possible she's afraid that her daughter will become another victim in the family sex ring. So Chessie says that Britney would have been safer in a crack house than growing up in that family environment. Maybe Britney felt the same way about her own daughter. The only way to protect herself and her little girl is to take the rest of her family down. Investigators call Britney the golden nugget in their case. She was the only one who could tell the full story, the only one who could send Donnie, Wendy, and everyone else to jail. But by all accounts, Britney decides to take matters into her own hands on May 30th, 2012. Throughout the day, Britney exchanges multiple messages with several people, and she's active on Facebook, something her mother claims she was addicted to. Around 6:50 p.m., Britney speaks on the phone with her ex-boyfriend and her baby daddy, Andy Hamilton. We're unsure what they talked about. Around 7 p.m., investigators arrive at Wendy Holland's house to question her about the sex ring allegations. At the same time, Britney leaves her mother's home, claiming to be visiting a friend. Now, at first, Chessie said Britney was in a good mood when she left, but her story changes later on. In the Peacock documentary Monster in the Shadows, Chessie says Britney seemed aggravated when she left. She asked asked Britney where she was going, and her daughter allegedly said, "I just don't think you'd understand."
Millie, did you ever find that movie? I don't think it's out anymore. Monsters in the Shadow? I never did find that. I really want to see that movie. I know Chessie said it was supposed to be out or coming out again, but there is a movie or a documentary about this. And if you can't find it now, I was wondering tonight, before I come on, if you could possibly write to these people and order it, because I would really love to see that. Did you see it, Retha? It's super sad. I really want to see that. But yeah, there is a documentary about this, and it's called Monsters in the Shadow. And but yeah, and Swade Smith, churches, daycare, CPS, family, Ellie, and so on. Please, Jesus, protect these young. Absolutely, absolutely. And you think it's not going on in these homes and these houses and all of that. So, you know, I don't, I really don't know, but whew, Lordy. So let's see. Let's finish this.
Mom, Chessie lost sight of Britney as she walked down the street. And that is when it's believed she got into Uncle Donnie's car. Cell phone records show that Britney and Donnie drove from Chessie's home in Mobile to a property near Styx River, some 32 miles east. According to police, it was a friend's house that Donnie was staying at, maybe to avoid running into them. But Britney sent several text messages between 9:30 and 10:40, so she was still alive, or someone else had her phone. Oddly, when police questioned the recipient of those messages, he claimed he couldn't remember what she said and he didn't have access to that device. Though some of Britney's last messages were to an unknown number between 10:42 and 10:46 that night. Andy called her around 11:29.
Oh no,
the call
they
lasted
don't.
just under a
They
minute,
don't,
and
honey.
it was the last call to Britney's phone that didn't go straight to voicemail. After that, all incoming calls went directly to voicemail. So during the night, cell phone records put Wendy Holland at the Styx River property with Donnie. She was either visiting her husband, coming there to abuse Britney, or cleaning up a crime scene. Shortly after midnight, somebody accessed Britney's voicemail in the same area. There's no way of knowing if it was Britney or somebody else. Britney's phone pinged for the final time just before 2 a.m. However, it pinged off a tower near the TA travel station in Grand Bay, which is back over Mobile Bay and about 13 miles southwest of her mother's house. Donnie's cell phone records place him around Chessie's house around the same time. There was no way of knowing if Britney was still with him or if he'd taken her phone. The battery was taken out around this time and her phone never pinged again. On June 1st, Donnie began acting strangely. He knew the police were closing in on him, so he dropped Wendy and the kids off at a friend's house in Magnolia Springs, Alabama. Well, Wendy called the investigators digging into her family to tell them that Donnie was making threats against his own life. She was adamant that Donnie did not have a gun. But about 30 minutes before Donnie was supposed to meet with investigators, he drove to an empty lot near his home and shot himself in the head. So he either had a gun or someone else was in the car. Possibly Britney. Things get messy surrounding the 911 call about Donnie's suicide attempt. It came from an unknown female who identified the victim as Donnie Holland. The caller said they, implying more than one person was on the scene, don't want to touch him. They said Donnie was still breathing and needed help. Well, it was later revealed that Wendy and a friend found Donnie about 90 minutes after his attempted suicide. They said that they'd been looking for him because he threatened to kill himself. Wendy also deleted 4 text messages from Donnie's phone before police arrived. Now, there's reason to believe that Wendy is the one who called 911 to report Donnie's suicide attempt. Police can't prove it, nor can they recover the deleted text messages. Donnie was airlifted to a hospital on the Florida Panhandle, but he died a few days later. His death was quickly ruled a suicide. perhaps too quickly. Because they ruled it a suicide on the scene, no gunshot residue tests were ever conducted. Now, this is mind-boggling because the gun he used to allegedly shoot himself was Britney's. It was a Raven .25 caliber with one bullet left in the magazine. Now, according to Britney's friends, she
Sorry. My understanding was, and I could be wrong, that Wendy, his wife, because she was in on all this too with him. But let me just say, in my opinion, I feel like this is what I feel like. I feel like they try to set Britney up to look like she's the one that did this to him when possibly, allegedly, it was possibly his wife, Wendy. And that's just my hunch. But they had already done something to Britney and used her phone battery and her pew-pew to make it look like, and then Wendy called, in my opinion, they called whoever they was, Wendy and whoever, or Wendy called and said he said he was going to do that to himself. Y'all get my drift what I'm trying to say, because I think Britney was going to turn on him. I mean, am I about hitting the button right, Retha? I mean, is that kind of like the talk around in the town? Because this just it just don't add up that Wendy went and found him, and, Britney's never to be seen again, but her pew-pew's there, and, you just got to think. I don't know. And then all of a sudden I don't know. And I think if he did it to himself, he probably wouldn't have lasted and lingered for 2 days, or a couple of days. That's just my thought and my opinion. So I don't know.
She bought the gun for protection in the days leading up to her disappearance. She also only carried 2 bullets, one in the chamber and one in the clip. Britney was officially declared missing on June 2nd, 2012. All attempts to contact her failed. Calls went to voicemail, texts went unanswered, and she was silent on social media. Though all searches came up empty. They found no evidence of Britney being in the Styx River home, nor anywhere near where Donnie allegedly tried to kill himself. And
That's
we
what I'm trying
say
to say.
allegedly because many people doubt that Donnie pulled the trigger. The gunshot wound was in the back of his head, behind his right ear. The bullet trajectory was from right to left and upward. That suggests that Donnie held the gun at an angle, or someone smaller than him shot him in the back of the head. Now, sometime in mid-June, Wendy arrived at Chessie's house with an interesting piece of evidence. She was holding Britney's cell phone battery. She allegedly found it in Donnie's SUV once the police were done searching it. Now, the police didn't consider the battery significant because it didn't store any data. They already knew Britney was in Donnie's car, although it was the only piece of her phone ever recovered. Chessie knew in her heart that Wendy had something to do with Britney's disappearance. That, or she knew what happened and wasn't saying anything. But weeks turned to months, and there's still no sign of Britney. Searches near Grand Bay, where her phone last pinged, came up empty. Meanwhile, the investigation into the family sex ring was going strong. But for some reason, investigators insisted that Britney's missing persons case wasn't related to the sex ring. At the end of July, Chessie told local media stations that she believed her daughter was the victim of sexual abuse. By then, 5 people, including Wendy, had already been arrested and charged with sex crimes against children. And there's a chance that Chessie knew more about that sex ring than she was letting on. But one of the victims told police that Chessie allegedly participated in a sex act with a minor. They claim she was having sex with Donnie and forced the minor to join them in the bedroom. Well, Chessie vehemently denied the allegations, saying she never had sex with Donnie or touched any of her younger family members. She also passed a lie detector test, for what it's worth. Her lawyer said Chessie was arrested because she dared speak out against the police department. She was hypercritical of her daughter's case and she didn't think that they were helping. However, 3 years later, Chessie pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of reckless endangerment. Her lawyers say she accepted the plea deal to end the ordeal and keep looking for Britney. Chessie still maintains her innocence regarding her family's crimes. In Monster in the Shadows, Chessie said, "All I can think of is if I go behind bars, I'll never find her. Nobody's going to look for her like me." Did Chessie really not know what was going on in her family, though? I mean, it's anybody's guess. 3 generations of systemic sexual abuse seems pretty hard to miss, especially when it involves your sister, your brother, and both your children. For her role in the sex ring, Wendy Holland was sentenced to over 200 years in prison. She allegedly pushed her own daughter into having sex with grown men. Now, Wendy's twin sister, Mendy, was sentenced to 40 years in prison for sodomizing and sexually abusing a child under 12. Her husband, Dustin, took a deal and got 17 years. Now, even though Uncle Scott was the first to blow the whistle, it didn't mean he was innocent. He was allegedly in love with one of the minor victims in his family and pleaded guilty to second-degree sodomy. The other charges against him were dropped as part of the plea deal. In total, 11 people were arrested and charged in relation to the sex ring. However, none provided insight into what happened to Britney Wood. In July 2020, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released an age-progressed photo of Britney, showing what she would look like at 27. A week later, Mobile police got a tip about possible remains in Grand Bay. Unfortunately, the search came up empty. As of 2023, Britney is still considered missing. Chessie considered holding a funeral for her after 10 years, though no arrangements were ever made. And while investigators are still working the case, they believe Britney is most likely dead. With little information, the theories surrounding what happened have spread out of control. Some believe Britney killed Donnie and ran away. Chessie says that's impossible. If Britney was going to run, she would have taken her daughter with her. So what if Wendy orchestrated the whole thing? What if she helped kill Britney or sold her to traffickers and then turned around and shot Donnie to cover everything up? Seems like she was first on the scene of Donnie's alleged suicide. She also deleted those 4 text messages from his phone. In 2013, police found letters written to and by Wendy indicating that she knew they were in trouble. In one letter to Wendy, the unknown author writes, "Britney wrote a letter with a lot of evidence. She said if anything happened to her, to give it to the police." Now, the letter continues saying whoever had it was afraid to give it up. Wendy should do anything possible to get and destroy that letter. Well, letters allegedly written by Wendy say, well, even if they do turn it in, meaning Britney's letter, they won't know if Brit wrote it or not. They cannot compare handwriting. If this letter exists, it suggests that Britney knew she was in danger. She was about to spill the beans and didn't put it past her family to kill her. So if Britney is alive, she'd be 31 years old as of 2023. She has brown hair, blue eyes, and her daughter's name, Peyton, tattooed on her left leg. And as for little Peyton, she lives with her father and great-grandmother. Thank God. Sometimes when the news comes on and they show a picture of Britney on TV, Peyton, when she was younger, used to walk up to the screen and say, "That's my mama." Now, wouldn't it be amazing if she could actually see her mother in person again? So what do you think? Do you think that Britney's still out there, maybe fighting with everything she has to get home to her daughter? Or do you think she was killed?
And that's your recap.
Thanks for hanging.
Oh my God, that's so sad. So sad. So, oh my God, I don't even know. So several family members, in fact, were arrested and in fact were convicted on charges, including the RAPE and sodomy and even incest. And that is just horrible. I told you it took a dark turn. So we're going to watch this news update right here real quick. Hold on.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way. offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get
Hey,
it done.
R2 Country Girl.
It's now been 12 years since Britney Wood vanished in 2012. Britney was a loving mother and daughter, and her family still searches for her and for answers around her disappearance to this very day. Her family is honoring her tonight and praying for her return at 7:30. They're going to be lighting candles and virtual candles during a vigil. In the months after Britney disappeared, nearly a dozen of her family members were arrested, some of them later prosecuted as part of a child sex abuse ring. Britney was last seen at her uncle's house near Styx River. That same uncle, Donnie Holland, we're told killed himself just days later. Police believe he had something to do with her disappearance. If you know anything about Britney Wood, where she might be today, you are urged to come forward and call police now.
At Grainger.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll go over that. I was fixing to call you Brittany. Lord have mercy. Woo. That gave me chills, Millie. We'll go over that interview here. Hold on. So these are definitely some trigger warnings in here. Definitely.
You're gonna come back.
Because I miss her.
Yeah?
Wood hasn't seen her daughter since May of 2012. Authorities say Britney went missing after visiting her uncle, Donald Holland Sr., in Baldwin County. He committed suicide just days later.
Yeah.
What would you want her to know about?
How fast we can sneak up on Mimi.
I'm going to bring Britney Wood home before I die.
Britney's disappearance brought out this huge family secret that's been going on for decades and finally brought it to a stop and brought charges against those involved. Again, this is something that had been happening unchecked for generations within the family, and it's finally come to an end. 11 people have been charged with disgusting crimes against children, and many of them are sitting in jail because of it.
Hey y'all, see your birthday party. I ain't getting nothing. Go ahead, tell them who you are.
I promised her that I would not give up ever until I take my last breath.
What would you give her?
A balloon.
And a big hug?
I can't do that.
Do you wish you could? What would it mean to give your mom a hug?
I miss her.
She plans to send 26 messages in the sky. Here's one.
Mom, I love you.
I'm going to bring Britney Wood home before I die.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I'll be right back.
Every step I take, every move I make, yeah. Every single day, every time I pray, I've been missing you. Thinking of the day, yeah, when you went away. What a life to take, what a bone to break. I've been missing you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being in here. I do appreciate you being here so much. I wanted to let you know, there's my comments. I keep clicking them off. I'm sorry. I wanted to let you know that I'm not going to go down and say hi to everybody. I do see you all, and I appreciate you so very much. I have Britney Wood's mother here backstage. I had the pleasure of talking to her for a little while and just trying to get to know her a little bit.
Background.
And you know, kind of talk. She really wants to find out what happened to her daughter, and she is pretty much no holds bar, but we are going to have respect in here. Again, I appreciate your support and the support the last few days that we've went over this. I feel like Britney, she deserves peace, and her daughter Peyton deserves peace, and they need to know what happened to their mother and their daughter in this case, period. She disappeared, as you know, from Mobile, Alabama on May 31st, 2012, when she was 19 years old. She was a young single mother of a baby girl who, again, I believe was 2 at the time. And then, unfortunately, her disappearance shook the entire Alabama. When it was uncovered, there was many other things that had happened. And, you know, you're welcome to your thoughts and opinions, but we are going to be kind here, and we're going to concentrate on Britney. We want her out in the public, in the light. Again, she deserves, just like anybody else, to be found. And that is the goal here. Nobody deserves to not be found. Please be respectful. Thank you.
Nobody. Everybody deserves to be found.
Her mother, Chessie Wood, again, is here. She's here to tell her story. She's here to tell us about Britney. And we want to get her name and face out there. Please remember, though, you can't bring in one without bringing the other out. And there are triggers and warnings here. And let's welcome Chessie now, and let's again be respectful. Hi, Chessie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Okay. I thank you for being here. I know it was not easy, but we want to get Britney's name back out.
Well, thank you for doing this for Britney.
You're welcome. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, because again, and as you were telling me, you couldn't believe I hadn't heard it, being so close to Mobile.
Right. It's actually aired in the UK, Australia, Canada, and America so far.
Yeah. And tell us about, because it was a movie or it was a documentary about it.
There was a documentary, and actually the broadcaster is back here in America as we speak, finding another location for it to get another contract. It was on the Peacock app for 2 years, and it did very, very well there. It's a 3-part documentary about this case, about the Britney Wood case, and it's called Monsters in the Shadows.
Okay.
Is the name of it. You can look it up on YouTube, and there's bits and pieces, but I am in constant contact with the creator of the documentary, and he's going to let me know as soon as that air date's going to come and where it will be located again, because we have so many requests to see it.
Yeah. So can you tell us, because first I'm sorry that what happened with Britney. I'm sorry what happened, that you had to go through this with the entire family. I mean, even back generations, everything that Britney had to go through to even get to this point. Can you tell us what kind of, first of all, tell us what kind of person Britney was from when she was a baby on?
Well, we have pictures
She's a beautiful girl.
Yes, she was. But her biggest attribute and what she was mostly known for was being a Spitfire. She was, people's like, she lit up a room. It wasn't like she lit up the room. She like brought energy to the room. It really is the one that depicts really who she is.
Yeah.
That's her personality all the time.
Oh.
So, she wasn't one to lay on the couch.
Yeah.
And she had many, many friends. That's her little friend group from back in the day. And she was my best friend for 17 years. I mean, I love my boys, but she loved to decorate Christmas with me, and she loved the beach like I do. She was kind of like what they considered nowadays my mini-me. We love the same exact things.
Yeah.
I miss her greatly.
Now, she was your only girl for a long time. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Angie,
years.
baby, for becoming a member. Yeah, because you were telling me backstage, you have how many kids?
I have 5 kids. I had 3 in one at one time, 3.5 years apart. I waited 13 years, and I have 2 younger children now that are the same age as my 2 grandchildren. Me and Brittany had my daughter and my granddaughter 4 days apart. We were pregnant at the same exact time.
Oh, wow. So I guess y'all did a lot of bonding there.
Yes, and my husband stayed out the way.
I'll bet.
She had Peyton May 7th, and I had my baby May 11th.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So she could come to me, it hurts right here. Is that normal? All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a wonderful, I believe God gave us that gift because He knows. He knew it wasn't going to be long. So He gave us something not many people can brag that they got to experience with their own kid.
Yeah. 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 That's something many don't get to experience. So she had a lot of friends, and then, so was Peyton's dad around a lot, or, was he not?
Well, he was young, dumb, and stupid back then. He's an awesome man now, but he was always like, he was young. They had Peyton at 17 years old, so he was still in like the partying stage, drinking with the boys. But he's always been present in her life. Yeah, she was. Yeah, and then after Brittany, he lost it a little bit, just like all the rest of us did. Now he's just the most amazing dad that Peyton could dream of, and the stepmom, just as amazing.
That's great. That's great. So she's got good stability with them, and
the whole little family, backs her.
Good. That's good. I worry about her since I seen her, and she's a cute little girl, and I really want her to find, out what happened to her mom and have closure.
That's why we want to, because we don't want her to pick up where we left off.
Right.
We want to give her them answers. Here it is, baby. It's sad, but this is what happened. Right now, when she asked, all we can say is, I don't know. I don't know. And she has remarked a few times, I think people's lying to me. I think they're trying to protect me.
See,
so all they say is, I don't know, but it's not. It's the truth. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to be fair with everybody. We've been going over this for a few days, so they've pretty much heard like videotapes and news clips and stuff like that. And I want to try to do this the best way that I can, and I want to honor Britney. First of all, I commend you for the whole 12 years now, coming, staying with this and never giving up and wanting to, it couldn't have been easy for what you and your entire family has had to face. I don't really know how to say that. And part of the family or whatever has done, how people must look at you some or what you've been through. And, you still say, I'm fighting for Britney and keeping her name out no matter what in my last breath.
Well, I see a lot of mommies really doing what I do with missing kids. It's just something that happens. It's a fire that lights in your body that's uncontrollable, that you have to find your child and you have to have the answers of what happened to them. I think it's just they say there's no greater love than a mother's. And I believe that's where that fire comes from. It just sparks. And no matter the distractions that comes at you, you have tunnel vision. You really do. That this is, I have to find her, or him. I have to find her. I have to find her. And then, when you find them, that's not even the end. That's the beginning to why, who, where, when. So people think when you're looking for your child, because I have a friend, a very dear friend of mine here in Mobile, her daughter-in-law buys a car that morning and she disappears. And a year later, they find her in her car at the bottom of a lake. And when she found her, I asked her, how did it feel? Even though that wasn't your daughter, you was very close to your daughter-in-law, and I know that can be a close bond. And how did it feel? And she said, nothing like you think it's going to feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be what you think. Because one is finalization that they are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And two, a whole new world of questions just swamped me. Why is she here? Who did this to her? And she's still on a mission to try to find them very same questions.
So it's not easy no matter who or what it is. It's heartbreaking. Britney, can you tell us, so you were you and her dad was married, right?
No.
That you were not married. Okay. So her stepmother, I seen that she really advocates for her too as well. Do y'all get along?
No.
You don't get along?
We did at first. I mean, the stress of this situation, if you research it, 60 to 80% of couples will divorce when it becomes over a murdered or missing child in the family. Me and my husband, we've been together for 22 years. Mm-hmm. At the beginning, we all came together. And of course, we all started having different opinions and different theories of what we believe happened. And it will split a lot of people apart. Luckily, I've had my husband, but I run into my ex-husband maybe once a year or two. And I speak to him.
Yeah.
I haven't spoke to Stephanie in years, but that's all that was. I mean, I don't take it personal.
Yeah. I just wondered, so what's left, with him? Do y'all get along, or with him?
Well, he was an absent father, so when Britney come up missing, and I was in a very dark place, and he was absent my first 3 kids' lives, and then he just pops up. I mean, it's a lot to process. Period.
Yeah.
And I'm very distraught. Just, I don't care about you or nobody. I need to find out where she is right now, because she could be hurt.
Yeah.
And she needs medical care. I mean, your brain will go through 100 million scenarios, and it don't stop. We're this far, and we're still, we think we have it down to if we had law enforcement cooperation, and I don't throw all law enforcement.
Sorry. I want to say this too, like, and I believed her from when I interviewed her. Millie knows that. So I don't just throw everybody, all the mothers, under the bus. And this is just me. And you know me, I don't like nobody that hurts kids. And could she be pulling the wool over my eyes? Certainly she could. But I've always believed Chessie. But what I want to say is this. Do y'all see the difference in her and everything that she's been through? She had to go to prison because she took a plea, because she gave, at the very last minute and all that. And just so she could get out and look for her child and everything. Do you see, and you'll see through this interview, but, do you see the difference in some people? That's all I'm going to say. Do you see the difference? Of all she was put through, the stakes and everything she was put through, and she's still out there. And I know for a fact, she still goes out and searches and pulls together the searches. There was even before I did the interview, I think it was Blue Eyes. Wasn't it Blue Eyes, Millie? But it was not the one that goes in Lolly's. It was another lady. She come up on my panel too that night. Because they wanted to connect or something, or she wanted to connect with Chessie. And she was at one of the searches recent prior, Blue Eyes Dumplings. And anyway, I connected them or whatever, and they talked or whatever. But I'm just saying, yeah, and Brittany's sitting here, okay, this one's saying, no, this woman is telling the truth. I don't for one second think she's done anything, but her sister was evil. Her sister and her brother-in-law. So anyway, I'm just saying all that she's been through, you can see the difference. Hey, Beck Carter, I don't know. I just for one second wouldn't take up for anybody that had hurt a child or anything like that. But I don't get that from her, period. But I'm just saying everybody can have their own opinions. Angie Baby, hello. I was listening to a live Annie Side Eye. She had a guest, Jamie. I can lead you on a panel. He said I'm going to do some Sebastian stuff. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Yeah, just let me know. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. Opal said, hey, Opal, member for 7 months. Thank you. Putting up with me for 7 months. Lord have mercy. Thank you for being here for 7 months and putting up with me. Yes, thank you. I don't know. I just stopped it because I thought that was awesome. What she's still doing through everything she's been through.
I'm a law enforcement advocate. We can't do it without them. But in my very case, I haven't had none. And because of what happened with my family.
Yeah. Do they have searches for her now? Do you still go on searches?
We do. The police has never searched for her. Not one time. On the documentary, Detective Eric Winberg from the Baldwin County Police Department, which is the one I have won at it with the most, he claims that they searched an area in Styx River where they were last seen. That none of that's true, and I can prove it. So no, it's always been family. Class Kids organization was my saving grace. They just, while we was in Styx River searching, because if you follow cases like we do, most people are killed by the last people they're seen with.
Yeah.
And there will be somewhere around the location they were last seen. Not
Yeah.
many people, it has happened. People will travel with somebody, but that's rare. So we go to the last place that Britney Wood was known to be alive in Styx River.
Yeah.
And me and my family, we start the search. And that involved her dad. Her dad was there. Her biological dad was there too.
Yeah.
Let's go. And some neighbor we don't even know called the Class Kids organization. I didn't even know existed. And the neighbor said, "Hey, I think you might want to help this family. They're over here looking for some missing loved kid of theirs." And so I walk out the woods, and there's the Class Kids organization.
Mm-hmm.
And they stuck with me longer than most cases besides Polly Class herself.
Yeah. Did EquiSearch ever come out, or did y'all try to contact them?
Many years later, like I said, I had Class Kids off and on for years. And usually they're so busy, sadly, with all the missing children coming up missing in America, which we advocate for. They do not have a lot of time to stick with the case. They do the initial search. They will teach the family how to do this, which is great. And then they have to move on to the next case. But with Britney, I think they really wanted the answers as much as me. I mean, years later, I got them to get a sonar, ground penetrating radar to go over concrete in Styx River. And that was 8 years later.
Yeah.
This kids was part of that.
They want to know what Britney's favorite color was.
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow and purple. They were like right neck and neck because her yellow was her favorite color, but she didn't want a yellow room, so she made us paint it purple.
Oh.
So, yeah, yellow and purple.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody the other day about how people used to tie the yellow ribbons around the tree.
Yeah.
And then you had that in the picture because they used to do that, didn't they? Yeah. When people was missing, tie the yellow ribbons around the oak trees and stuff like that.
That also, I think, had something to do with the soldiers coming home back in the day. They would tie ribbons around the tree to bring them home. Yeah. I think that's where it originated from. Yeah, we've handed out, I know I saw that you showed the flyers.
Yes.
We've handed out approximately 7,500 flyers by hand.
See, they're putting up, they wanted to know because now they're putting up, and you'll see that around now. That'll be her colors, purple and yellow. And they'll start putting up hearts when we talk about her now.
Thanks. Thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. She also had one tattoo on her leg, and it was a purple butterfly with her baby's name in it, Peyton.
Oh.
And so butterflies, when I see butterflies, they also mean a lot to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Butterflies. Yeah.
If it wasn't dark, I have a memorial set out back. It's a concrete bench with the angels playing their trumpets, and it's got a plaque, missing May 30th, 2012, until we see you again, Britney Wood on it. Oh. And I grow long stem yellow roses that grow over the bench and the vases and stuff because that was her flower, yellow roses.
Yep. There's the Blue Eyes Dumplings lady. She's the one that said, her and her kids and friends went out searching several times. She was here the other night. That was her.
Yes, I want to thank all the people. I know at one time in Styx River, we had over 800 people at that search. And I have searched everywhere, and people would just show up. It's amazing. Just complete strangers, and this is dangerous. We're in the woods. We're in the swamps. There's everything from snakes to God knows what thorns that will tear blood out, and they don't care. They got their boots on, and I want to thank you, Blue Eyes Dumpling, and anybody else out there that has been a part of my journey to find my daughter. We don't get a lot of time to thank y'all for what y'all have done, but it means the world to me and my family.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tina, let's see, Tina is in chat showing support for Chessie too.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in here showing support. What can I ask? Why did Britney carry a gun?
Because at the time her boyfriend was violent. Okay. And another friend of hers, which was a male, gave her the gun because We didn't want nothing to, ironically, we didn't want nothing to happen to her.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people looked straight at him. And to tell you the truth, I could not stand him back then. Okay, he was wild. He was a young kid that was out of his element. He was kind of violent when he got drunk, but we had totally eliminated him from doing anything to Britney because people's like, oh, it's the violent boyfriend. Yes, most of the time it is, but he has the perfect alibi. And that is, he was at a party talking to the cops because the neighbors called the cops because this party was too loud. And he was the one that was talking to the police at the time.
Yeah. You can't have. Whoops. You mean kind of like somebody working at the jail? Oh, can't have more perfect alibis than talking to the cops or working at the jails. I'm just saying. How ironic.
Another county. So yeah, there's no better witness to place you somewhere than another police officer.
Yeah. Exactly.
So wipe him off. It's not, we know who killed Britney. It's either going to be, and it's split here. With the family, friends, law enforcement, everybody's kind of split. It's either going to be Donnie Holland or Wendy Holland killed my daughter.
Yeah.
If one of them did it, I believe the other one had knowledge. Wendy Holland knows what happened to my child.
Yeah. She got the most time, right? 219 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of, for those that don't know, you probably need to go back and watch where I started this on part 1 on Britney. With Britney, when she went missing. Holly ain't dumb, honey. We'll just go over it a little bit. We do want to keep Britney in the spotlight. But when Britney went missing, they ended up, well, in February, somebody in the family called in. They were not a victim. They were a perpetrator too, part of the family, but called in and said there was a family 3 generations back. Long story short, trigger warning, pedo ring. And then Britney ended up missing. Donnie Holland, the uncle, and Wendy Holland, the aunt, was pretty much head of this ring. Donnie was the head of the ring. Wendy was the wife. A day or 2 later, they found Donnie, who put a bullet to his head, supposedly.
There's a lot of supposedlys in there, by the way.
Yeah. Wendy found him. He was still breathing, right? He didn't die until 2 or 3 days later. And the ironic thing to me was some text messages was gone off of his phone. There was no DNA on the gun. There was no bullet found. It was Britney's gun that was used, and her cell phone was never found, but the battery to her cell phone was in the car. So it's a lot of strange things going on right there.
Yeah, the main theory is, okay, May 30th, Britney walks out my door. We know she gets in the car in the SUV with Uncle Donnie at the end of my road, which is only 1 house over. So when I say at the end of the road, don't think it's it's right there. I cannot see her because there's a privacy fence. So I have telephone pings. Class kids made this map for me. And what this map shows is Donnie Holland and Britney Wood's phone starting at the end of my road, pinging together all the way to Styx River. That's how we know how it starts off. Okay, and then we get a cell phone professional. This is Donnie and Britney's cell phone pings, messages, not the messages themselves. We never could get them. So we know that she left with Donnie. They went to Styx River. A few neighbors did see them there. And Friday, that's Wednesday night, she leaves my house approximately 7:15 p.m. She's a grown woman with a child. Okay, luckily she didn't have her child. Her dad had her at his grandma's. So Donnie and Britney gets to Styx River and she's never seen again. That's where everything gets kind of crazy. Friday, 2 days later, which is June 1st, I get a call. I'm in my car with my mother in the car, and it's Wendy saying, have you seen Donnie? Have you talked to Donnie? And I was like, no, he's probably in a store talking to somebody because he was like that as a person. And she said, well, you call his phone and see if you can get him to answer. I said, sure. I called it. He didn't answer. I called him and I called her back. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's in the store. So I get off the phone. About 20 minutes later, I'm going to my oldest sister's house that's never been a part of none of this. And I get a phone call from Mindy, Wendy's twin, Mindy Kent, saying, my youngest sister, saying that Donnie had shot himself.
Oh.
And so I take my mother to my sister, tell my sister what happened. So we all pile up and we get to the hospital where they tell us they actually took him to Pensacola. Because where he was, it was actually closer by helicopter to Pensacola. So we had to drive all the way to Pensacola. There was all kind of strange things that happened in that hospital. As far as Wendy putting on Facebook how cute the doctor was, while her husband is, and this is all verifiable. You can go look all over Facebook. It's right there. To her wanting to pull him off the plug as quick as possible. And she got the man cremated in 2 days. I have lost a lot of loved ones that had everything set up.
That's wild.
Burial, everything's ready to go. And they were not cremated in 2 days. To this day, we do not know how she got that done, but we know why.
Yeah.
Because evidence was all over his body. When he was in the hospital, we asked him, even though it's a sight we've never seen before, they said he was brain dead, but they were going to keep him on life support for a few days. And every time we mentioned Britney, his vital signs would change. And me and my sister Sonia noticed this. But Wendy and Mindy, my sisters, is standing beside his hospital bed saying, where's Britney? Where's Britney? And now we don't know why they were doing that, because at the time we didn't know Britney was missing.
Yeah.
But they were like, Donnie, tell us where Britney is. And looking back, there's just so much hindsight. And then she pulls the plug. He's cremated. That's that. She's done with him. Then she gets the SUV back that he did not commit suicide. He was shot because we were there. We saw it. You didn't see the hole. They had a little gauze, little patch over the hole.
Yeah.
Shot right here.
Yeah, they said they started to investigate after that how he was holding the gun or something, and it didn't fit. They thought they were starting to suspect that he might have not have.
Well, the problem is the medical examiner said that it was so many centimeters from the temple, but we know what we saw. And the responding officer, the first cop on the scene, put in his report he witnessed a single gunshot wound behind the ear, which is where we're saying it was. But the medical examiner put it more towards the temple. But we know what we all saw.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to debate that with the medical examiner's report. But we know, and we talked to on my documentary, there's a lot of professionals that he brings in. One is a gunshot expert, and he has never in his 23 years of being a gunshot expert seen anybody ever commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head. It don't happen.
Right.
It's either going to be in the temple, the mouth, under the chin. They want the job done. Back here, your head's hard.
Yeah.
So you might not, you might live through it like he did for a little bit.
Yeah.
But we honestly believe he was shot.
Yeah. And do you think it's, and I'm just, it was in Mobile, I believe, down around, wasn't it Tillman's Corner? Yeah, I don't think he shot himself. I believe, in my opinion, I think it was Wendy. That's just me. And this interview was done sometime last year. I don't remember right offhand, but this was last year. I don't know what all the commotion is in the chat, why you think somebody's using me, Angie. I don't know who you're referring to. Yeah, Baldwin County. Sorry, Baldwin County. Baldwin County is where he shot himself. But yeah, this interview was, it was further back. This was almost 2 years ago, because this was way before Sebastian got missing. So this was almost 2 years ago, probably, this interview. So I don't know if somebody's confused or Angie, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're free to say who or what you're talking about, I mean, it's a free chat over here. You can say or whatever, but anyway, hold on just a minute. Let's see. Just asking, do you think it's possible in any way, shape, or form that Britney could have done that and just left?
Yes, we did go through that theory, and we actually went through it with Class Kids, the leader of Class Kids. Yep. And you said, Chessie, I've come to know Britney, and number one, this did not happen, and I'll tell you why. She's never left this town for nothing. She don't have an aunt in California she went and stayed with. So for a little girl to go out into the world like that, she would have took the gun with her. She wouldn't have left it at the scene. Plus, she's smart enough not to leave it at the scene. She would have just took it to cover her own ass, per se. Sorry. But that was his, and I totally agree. Number three, she really wouldn't have to run.
Yeah.
Once everything come out, she wasn't going to prison.
Yeah.
But no, we went down that theory. We went down the child trafficking theory. Maybe they sold her.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, when it comes to child trafficking, a lot of cases you can track down. People don't think you can. Yes, you can. There's money being swapped, there's services, and there's trails. And there is no trail that Britney Wood was trafficked.
Okay. So, So what did she tell you when she left home that day?
Well, my husband and his brother-in-law was leaving town to go out to New Orleans. Our babies were so small, we kind of raised them together.
Yeah.
So that weekend, we had all these plans to do with all these. It was her daughter, my daughter, and my son went but 10 months. So we had these 3 little cute babies that we did things with. And I was standing outside the door watching her stepdad and uncle go to New Orleans for work. And she walked out the door with her duffel bag. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'll be back. And I said, I thought we had plans for this weekend. And she said, Mom, you wouldn't understand. And she walked out the
Yeah. And that was the last time you saw her.
I've ever seen her. 19 years old. So Donnie was walking around the corner at Mindy's and Dustin's house, his twin wife's sister. I know this gets very confusing. They lived right around the corner from me, so it's not like he come a great distance to get Britney. He was right around the corner helping them build some steps. I don't know if it was a chance encounter, because at the beginning we thought she was going to her friend Courtney's house. Courtney said that was never the plan.
Yeah.
So a lot of people believe, one of the major theories is Britney got in that truck to confront Donnie because she got a message from one of the victims, the main victim. Just days before her disappearance, Britney got these messages from the main victim, which was much younger than her and somebody Britney cared deeply about, saying that she had been raped by her dad and all that. So a lot of people believe that this was the moment that Britney hopped in that truck. And because if you knew Britney,
love you, Miss Grace,
she could have very well even become violent physically with him because of what she had just learned about the people she loved. And a lot of people believe he killed her.
Thought she was going to take up for them. And
I think if Donnie did kill her, it was a very snap. He snapped. Like, he killed her like that, which I hate to say has always kind of been the way I hope it went. Because if it was like Wendy, Donnie cared about Britney in a very sick, perverse way. We did not know it was perverse then. Okay, I was very close to an uncle. That uncle never touched me. We had a great uncle niece cool relationship. I thought that was what the same thing was going on here. But Wendy does not like Britney. She hates her. So I've always thought if she killed her, it probably wouldn't have been as quick as if Donnie did it.
But Wendy was your sister, right?
Yeah. The same sister that stayed in jail and laughed at me while I was crying on the TV looking for my kid.
I saw that. So do you think Wendy was jealous of her and Donnie?
Yeah, Wendy had gotten older. She had 3 kids. You know, we change. We're women. We know the process our own bodies has went through. And Britney was, I thought my children were beautiful because they're my kids. You know, you're a mama. You think your boys are the most handsomest things. But when other people bring it to your attention,
it's beautiful. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, well, wow. You know, maybe it's just not mama bias, you know. And Britney was a very beautiful girl. And, yeah, Wendy was jealous of her.
God, this is a hard case. So I'm trying to do this so delicately. So was Wendy not hurting your other son, one of your sons?
Yes. She sexually assaulted one of my sons. My other son was spared just because he was the homebody. He was just a homebody. He wanted to be home all the time.
So I guess the reason I brought that up is, and I'm sorry I had to do that, I guess the reason I said that is, if she was doing the same thing, why do you think she was so jealous of Britney and Donnie?
She wanted Donnie's attention too. See, listen, a lot of people have this wrong. Donnie was not the ringleader. Wendy wasn't even the ringleader. This story is so complex. It's Ronnie Robertson was the ringleader. And that was my mother's boyfriend. He was the ringleader.
Okay. All right. So I just got on that today. I don't think I've brought him up in this with my people. He's the one that molested Britney when she was 9, correct?
Yeah, well, none that we know of, but yeah, it was probably a couple years. We prosecuted him when Britney was 12. But
Okay.
yes, the accusation we prosecuted him for at that time was an incident that happened when she was 9, but it happened more than that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'm just getting into that. And I saw it. But see, I thought that was prior to. I didn't know that was in altogether with this.
No, it was prior, but Ronnie, Donnie, Wendy, and Mindy lived in one house for a few years together, and that's the perfect storm. That's when it all.
Everything happened was started.
That's
with
when Ronnie kind of,
sand.
yeah. There's no grooming to it. It's the perfect storm. A bunch of sick people somehow ended up in the same place.
Okay. So that's where it kind of all started.
Yeah.
Way back then. Okay.
Like Ronnie opened the door.
I'm just trying to understand.
Because if you study this like I have now, somehow pedophiles know other pedophiles. They can spot them somehow. And I don't know how this all went down, but when Donnie got with Wendy,
have you ever noticed people can just spot the same kind of people? It's true. I don't know. I've always heard that all my life, but I guess it is true.
Wendy wasn't but 15 years old. Donnie was like 23. But my mother was so obsessed with her boyfriend, she didn't give a daggum about none of us, I left home when I was 14 to get away from it all. Wendy and Mindy was kind of stuck there. So I know they're victims of Ronnie's. He just never got prosecuted for it because we made sure to get him taken care of. He got life plus 10.
Yeah.
But he is the true ringleader. And then when he's out the picture, we still don't think it's Donnie. Wendy Holland is the ringleader of this case.
I mean, really, if you think about it, good, bad, or indifferent, you always go, well, some people, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, this, that, or the other. And then you go, well, how do they know to approach people? Or how do they know, I don't know. I mean, they just know. They have this sense. I mean, so I guess it's the same way with, the pet, whatever. It would make sense. I don't know. And really, if you think about it, how does people know to go up to a person and go, I know there are stupid people, and they get busted for undercover and stuff like that. But how do they know for that somebody, most people you can tell they do drugs and stuff, but how do you know to approach people and say, I'm going to just walk up somewhere I've never seen nobody before and offer to sell to them? I mean, okay, you're taking a huge risk. I mean, really? Because they just know. So again, it would make sense for the same people. I don't know. It's beyond me.
And she always has been.
And she kind of seems like, the one that wore the pants in the house. Is that kind of?
Donnie, I know Donnie got with her when he was old and she was young, but I think she just kind of passed him up somehow, as the authoritarian in the family. Yeah, what she says And we thought it was kind of like happy wife, happy life. You grow up hearing that, but no, that's been the number one question people ask to this day. And only people who's been in this situation gets it.
Yeah.
How did you not know? It's
Yeah.
the number one question I've always been asked.
Yeah.
How did you not know? And that is a stigma I'm trying to change to this day. Number one, it never happened in my own home. It never claimed to be. The cops never claimed it to be. They knew it never happened here. If you believe that your relationship is close enough with your children that they're going to tell you everything, your kids are actually in danger right now. Your kids aren't going to tell you everything. I was stupid enough because I get to ask my son now that's a victim why they didn't tell me. And he said two things. That when Dr. Phil and stuff used to be on TV, I'd walk by and I'd say, if anybody ever did that to you, I'd kill them. And he said, you said it all the time. So we really believe, and we know you would. And we were scared who would take care of TJ. Since my husband now is not his biological dad, they thought that they would lose their youngest brother. So that's why they said they never told. And these people are good at what they do. Especially the women. A lot of people don't look at the women. The women is just as capable as the men, if not more, because people don't look at them up under a microscope like you do a man.
Now, I will agree to that. Seems like there is a part where they turn their head to that. Which brings me to, and we talked about this backstage, and you said you're kind of used to this. Later on, you were arrested, and I seen clips myself, and people's heard it. Even your attorney said, no matter what, that you would not plead guilty. I heard in the, as you were walking out, you said, no matter what, if they get charged, so be it. You will not. And then later on, you ended up taking a plea.
I'm glad you asked this because I love to clarify this. Number one, when my lawyer took my case, he said, we will never plea. And I was like, good, because I'm not. It's my personality. I have to be right. When I'm right, I have to be right type personality. So I was game with that. It was 3.5 years of going to court. Every time I went, it was a circus. One time I went and the judge said, Miss Wood, sit back down. We're waiting on Channel 5 to get here. So there was more cameras on me. It was that type of thing. And then every time it was reset, reset, reset. That's what I heard for 3.5 years. I think I went to court 12 to 15 times. And the whole time I'm organizing search teams and stuff, getting the crackers and waters in the cars to go hit the woods as soon as we leave this courtroom. And I was facing 3 felony charges, all Class A. I have kids in the next room. You can look it up. It's all over there.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
I do a lot of this, and because they're children.
Yeah,
but,
that's okay.
At the end, it wasn't even my lawyer. It was his paralegal called me up and said, Chessie, this is your life. You get to choose. You know we believe in you. But they have come to us with a Class C misdemeanor. No probation, no PO, no nothing. You sign this paper, they leave you on forever, and you just go on with your life. And you're not a felon. It's a Class C misdemeanor. It's the same crime as if you don't buckle your seatbelt in your car when you're driving. It's called, why do I always have a problem remembering? You said reckless endangerment. It's not of a child. It's just reckless endangerment. Look it up. My lawyer said it's like this. Have you ever, because I told them I will never plead guilty to something I didn't do. Yeah. And my lawyer said, have you ever went to a party, Chessie, when you were young and left that party maybe with a beer or two in your system and a friend in your car? And I said, yeah, I probably have, maybe a few times. And he said,
Angie said, Smiley's Stories World, it was 37 years in the end that me and my sister got a judgment finally. Angie, are you part of this Britney's case? I mean, would you like a link? Because, you know, you're more than welcome to have a link and come up here and tell your side of the story. I'll be just as kind to you as I was Chessie. You're more than welcome, like I said, to have a link, because I really don't have a clue when you're going back and forth in the chat of what you're talking about, honestly, or who you're talking about. Again, this interview was almost 2 years ago, and none of us in this chat, I can tell you, and I'm not being rude, we just don't know what in the world, at least I don't. I won't speak for everybody else, but I don't have a clue what you're talking about. But I can drop you a link if you would like, and you're more than welcome to come up here and tell us what happened or what you're talking about. Yeah, Jenny's saying it's not just me. We don't really understand. So any time, 37 years in the end, me and my sister got a judgment finally. I mean, is this Chessie's sister? I don't know. You know? But at the very end, just come up here and tell me if you want to. I ain't mad. I just don't understand what you're talking about. So I got time today, honey. I got time today. But I can tell you one thing Smiley ain't good at is I ain't good at riddles. So there's that. I ain't good at math and I ain't good at riddles. I never pretended to be perfect. So, oh, and I don't know what she's talking about. So there's that.
you're guilty of reckless endangerment. So just, I just want you to know that's the line you're at. But he did not want to take the plea. My lawyer said he could beat it. He said, no problem. And plus, I just know when you know you didn't do something, there's no reason to drag this all out and make a circus out of this for everybody's entertainment. I need to go find my kid. I did the polygraph test. They wanted a polygraph test. I went and found the best polygrapher there was to be found, an FBI agent polygrapher, and had the polygraph. And since I did it that way, they didn't want no part of it.
Yeah.
And that polygrapher in my documentary says he would go to court on my behalf.
Yeah, I saw where you passed that. And again, that was something else that, you know, Alabama, the lady come out and said, we do not accept those anyway in court. I've never been big on polygraphs anywhere. Never. Why waste taxpayers' money? That's just me and my thoughts, period.
But when you're in the interrogation room, it's one of the first things the cops will say, can we give you a polygraph? Yeah. And I told them at the time, yes. And then I went home and my aunt said, you better get a hold of you a lawyer. Yeah. So I called a lawyer and he said, you're not taking no polygraph with no police department. Are you crazy? And it don't matter if you're innocent or guilty. You never take a polygraph with a police department. Nobody. Yeah. Because it's how they ask the question. And I was like, well, if you didn't do it, you're not going to fail anyway. And he said, never take a polygraph for the police department. We'll find the best one there is. I paid $500 cash for that polygrapher. And he said, now they have added more things to a polygraph test too. So the rate of it being accurate has went up. And actually it went up again since my polygraph, because it's been 11 years. And that polygrapher says now, by today's standards, I would pass it even on a higher scale.
Yeah.
Because it got more technical. He said, but yes, if she was to do it today, she would even score higher. But I wasn't afraid of none of it because I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got mixed. It wasn't just me, ma'am. My brother, the one that called, they convicted my brother on him shaking his head, yes, during questioning.
Oh, wow.
See, I need the documentary because this is all on their proof, where the police detective Eric Winberg says, well, if you look at him, every time I ask something, he'll answer no, but he shakes his head yes. Well, let me tell you something. I do that a lot. You just did it too. It's to acknowledge that you're listening, that you're engaged. Yeah. A lot of people, I think it's a Southern thing too, that we shake our head to acknowledge, but he thought that was a symbol of guilt. And how do we know who was innocent and who was guilty? Nothing Morgan is also innocent in this. Wendy Holling gets 229 years. Let's just look at their sentences. Mindy gets 40 years. This is all day for day. None of them can get paroled or early time. 229. Mindy gets 40. Billy Brownlee gets 70. My brother Scott Wood gets 3.
All right. I dropped you a link. So if you don't mind, you can keep your camera down. But if you don't mind, just show me your face real quick. And then you can put your camera down. It's fine. But yeah. Can you hear me, Kiki? Can you hear me now? What about now, Kiki? Can you hear me? Okay. I dropped the link. And I was just telling Angie she could come up. So no, Angie's not here yet. She told me to drop the link. Okay. If she's coming, she can come on. I'm just waiting on her to come. I'm going to drop it again, Angie. Uh-oh, hold on. In case you missed it. Okay, you can come up, Angie. All right, Millie, hold on. All right, got it, Millie. Okay, Kiki. I'm waiting on it. Okay, here's Angie. All right, Angie. You can so no, that's not Angie, that's Jensen. Are you okay to leave your all right, hold on.
Jensen.
Okay. All right.
Okay to leave.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Okay to leave.
Uh-oh. All right. Why is that up? Oh, turn your volume down on your TV.
Oh, okay. Volume down.
Yeah, because we were getting an echo.
I'm sorry.
You're fine now. Are you Angie or are you somebody else?
I'm Angie.
Oh, okay. Okay. It was showing something else. I'm sorry. How can I I'm confused, Angie.
Smiley.
Yes.
I think you're awesome.
Thank you.
First of all, I do think you are awesome. And I think that you are actually here for the right reasons.
Well, thank you.
And I have to tell you, oh dear, you can't see me, can you?
I can see just your icon.
I am in England.
Okay. Thank you for watching.
I always watch you, Smiley.
Thank
always. I said in a message that it took me 37 years for me and my sister to get justice. Well, it did, Smiley.
What justice did you have to get? I'm sorry that it took 37 years.
Well,
if you can talk about it,
I can. If you are okay to listen to me, I can tell everybody.
Yes, I'm willing to listen to you, sure.
Well, thank you. It took, well, I'm now 53 years old. And my sister is 56 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
It was quite a journey Smiley, it was quite a journey, but I am so glad you listened to me. And I'm so sorry because I do have a drink, right?
That's okay.
Every day. Well, I can't help it, to be fair. But, well, I could, but I can't. But anyway, Smiley, you are the person that I would like to tell.
I'm listening, honey.
Thank you. You are the person that I would like to tell that I have a drink on a daily basis, right? But, Smiley, it is 20 to 6 in the morning for me in the UK, in England, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I will go to sleep and wake up at maybe dinner time, something.
I'm so sorry.
And then try and get up, you know, like during the day. But Smiley,
What can I do to help you? Do you have
no, sweetheart, no. This isn't about helping me.
But do you have somebody to talk to?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, though. Thank you, though. It's not about helping me. I have people to help me, even though it's pretty impossible, to be fair, but Smiley, I think you're wonderful. And I think that you are definitely here to look out for Sebastian and whatever. But I'm here to tell you that children and young teenagers and young adults and whatever else, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes they do not get what they're supposed to get.
You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you my story, Smiley.
Yes, please do. If I'm here to listen, and we're all here to listen, just know that.
I know you are. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey.
So, I was born to my parents in England in 1972, right? And then my mum and dad split up, and my mum, my mama took me to Scotland because her parents were in Scotland, right? And Scotland is a beautiful place, let me tell you. Beautiful place. But I was one of 3 children. So by the time it was all sorted out, my brother and sister stayed in England, and my mum took me to Scotland, right? So I went to school in Scotland, and she met someone else, and she married him, and all this. And what did he do? What did he do? Oh, yes. Yes. Stepfather violated me. And then my sister from England came to stay with us. And oh, what did he do? Yeah. And Smiley, we rang the police. We told them what happened.
And what happened?
We told them what happened. We told them what he did. My mum's husband. We told the police what happened. And because my sister was only up on visitation, from England for a small while. Oh dear. She went home to England, my dad, right? And then what did they do to me, Smiley?
I can't imagine. I'm so sorry.
I was 11 years old. 11.
Oh no.
I was 11 years old. And they took me after. Oh wait, let me tell you the God's honest truth. My mum took me to the doctors that day saying that I'd said my stepfather had whatever. Yeah, trigger warning, sorry guys. This is the truth. See, you can look it up. It'll be in the records. He sat in the room. A psychiatrist from the doctor's surgery sat in the room and said, "What happened?" And I told him straight up what happened. Next minute, they dragged me downstairs. They pulled me out the back door into a van and took me to a psychiatric unit about 20, 30, maybe 40 miles away. I was 11. psychiatric unit, like I was off my nut or something.
I'm so sorry, honey.
This psychiatric place, though, Smiley, it wasn't just like a little thing. It was a psychiatric unit in a big, massive psychiatric place with a big psychiatric unit. I went to this adolescent unit that was from 0 to 11 and 11 to 18, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But I was 11. They thought that I was grown up for my age. Which was, to be fair. But they put me in this psychiatric unit and all these kids, teenagers, whatever, they were slashing the wrists, they were sniffing this and sniffing that. When they took me in, the night that they took me in, my mum was there. She came in the room with me. And she brought my nighties and whatever. I remember exactly what I was wearing. And I'm crying, saying, Mum, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. And 5 people, whoever they were, pinned me to my bed, right? I was screaming, I was kicking off. And I dislocated my mum's thumb in the midst of everything. But you know what? I only found out in 2018 that they'd sedated me. I didn't know, Smiley. I didn't know. They sedated me for the whole weekend that I was in there, right? Well, like, I was taken in there on the Friday night and I was sedated all Saturday and all Sunday.
Oh no.
I didn't even know that till we got to the court. My records were pulled up in the court. Right, listen, sorry. Flipping hell.
This was not your fault.
No.
And I hope, listen, I hope all these years that you know that, and I am so sorry. I'm so sorry this happened to you.
Smiley. Do you know something? This happened when I was a child.
I know.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know it's not my fault because of all the times that I told the police and I told my school and I told everybody, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Eventually, Smiley, in the UK, right?
Uh-huh.
When it came out that what's his flipping name? God, can't even remember now. Jimmy Savile. Have you heard the name Jimmy Savile?
I don't I don't think I've heard that name.
Well, Jimmy Savile was somebody that worked for the BBC, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the UK, and he eventually was done for child whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I have to, sorry, Smiley, do you know something? I am so grateful that you listened to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for thank
No,
you.
thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Smiley. I know that I'm on your channel and you're listening to me. Thank you so much. And what I'm telling you is the truth. It's the it's the absolute truth.
Well, I
So
believe you. We believe you here, and
I
and
know
and you didn't deserve that. You deserved to be safe and protected, and you're not alone. I'm here for you, and we can talk when if you need to, and we're here to listen, and we want to respect you and your privacy, and we're here to listen. That's what we're here for. If I can help you or help one person, then that's what I'm here for.
I absolutely appreciate you, Smiley. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I can see you comments on my laptop. Thank you, guys,
Yeah.
so much.
I mean, you have
Bye.
a community here, and Leslie's right. You are a survivor. You know, you are definitely a survivor.
I am absolutely not a survivor. I am kind of, but when I listen to stories like Sebastian and whatever, I absolutely can't. Anyway, listen. So Jimmy Savile came about in the UK. The story hit the headlines of him being a predator and whatever for the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
That was a main media outlet in England, Scotland, whatever. And when that came about, I had already told the police and everything when I was younger, when I was that age and whatever. And nobody believed me, obviously. It was all my fault. This, that, and the next thing. And then, when this all came about, and I thought, right, you lot, if you're listening to this pedo who's done this, that, and the next thing, you're going to listen to me. You are going to listen to me because I'm not having it. I'd made police reports when I was younger. My sister did.
Yeah.
It was frustrating, Smiley. They didn't believe us. They took me in that place. They sent my sister back to England. Blah, blah, blah. So, when the Jimmy Savile case came out, and it was all over the news, I thought, right, this is it. They're acknowledging these pedos. So I rang the police and I said, right, this is it. I've made reports before, blah, 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 when I was a kid, and I need to get justice. I can't let it go. Anyway, so they took my report, and in 2018, we got to court, Smiley. We got to court. Now, in the UK, I was born in England, right? But I grew up in Scotland, right? With my mum and her family and whatever. And because what had happened to me was in Scotland, the court case was in Scotland. Can you hear me, Smiley?
And I can hear you.
The court case ended up in Scotland, right?
Yes.
In Edinburgh High Court. I have the details, right?
Like you got all the court records and stuff like that?
Yes. I have all the paperwork.
Oh, wow.
2018, Edinburgh High Court, me and my sister took this, oh my God, pedo. But he was 67 years old by then, Smiley. Right?
Yeah.
67 years old. But don't forget that me and my sister and my brother, right?
Yeah.
Was from my mum's first marriage, right?
Right.
But when my mum moved to Scotland, when she married this pedo, she had 2 more boys, right?
Uh-huh.
So my little brothers were begging me, please, sis, don't. And I'm like, yeah, I have. I have to. I've got to do. Smiley, thank you so much for listening to me. I swear to God. It has been so bad. Anyway. We went.
What you're telling your story, you know, that's strength. That's strength, and you're still here, and you have that strength, and no matter what, your story matters. I want you to know that.
I am so proud of you for letting me talk. Smiley, thank you so much, because it is true. I have the documents to back it up.
Well, you know, your story can help somebody else, you know, and
I hope.
Yeah, and what happened to you, it does not define who you are. So, you know, it can help somebody else, and I appreciate you being able to speak out on it.
I hope. I hope to God that anybody, no matter how long it takes, gets the justice that they deserve. That gonna not try.
Right.
That
Leslie says you should write a book, and and let others know, you know, and that will help them too.
No, Smiley. No. No. I am sick of feeling the way I do. And it's because when I was a kid, they didn't listen to me, Smiley. Even my mum, none of them listened to me. And my mum, she loved me though, Smiley. She loved me. But she didn't believe me because she loved him more. She didn't believe me. She let me go through it and do whatever. Because she loved him. I would never, ever let my kids never.
This breaks my heart.
I absolutely would never let my kids. It breaks my heart, Smiley, right? Because, oh God, I am so grateful. I could send you 500 quid just for listening to me.
Is your mom still living?
No. She died. She died.
I'm sorry.
When she was 42, Smiley. I was only 21.
I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. And you didn't ever get to resolve this with her, did you?
Know what happened, Smiley? This is God's honest truth.
Oh.
This is the God's honest truth.
Yeah, and this is even more, it makes it even more heartbreaking. Look, Angie, I am so sorry. I cannot imagine. I just lost my mom, and I can't imagine having something unresolved, especially like this.
I'm so Smiley. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry about. Woman's Warrior said there's nothing, no greater than betrayal when your mom does something that's so unforgivable. And you always look, even in Sebastian's case, I said, you love your mom. You always love your mom no matter what. But you can't, you don't want anything unresolved. You don't want anything unsaid or unresolved or whatever. I can't imagine something like this for you that wasn't even your fault to be left with you. Not even the other way around, but to be left with you to carry the rest of your life. And I really hope you have somebody, I hope you really are talking to somebody and can break free from this. That has to be, and I don't know any other way to say it. I mean, no wonder you're having a drink every day. And I hope you break yourself from that every day too, but that's not my business. I don't feel that's the right way to go, but I can understand why. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I just wish I could give you a hug. I don't even know.
I wish I could give you a hug. The thing is, right, Smiley, when we went to court, right, over all this, and that swine was in the courtroom, he had actually said no comment, from when he was arrested. He said no comment, no comment, no comment, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then the judge said to him, no, wait, oh God, what was I going to say? Anyway, he was saying no comment all the way through, and my sister had a screen, up so she couldn't see him. And she was the first witness. And then I was the second witness, and I said, I don't want a screen. I want to look him in the face. I don't care if he's 70-something years old. He's took this all these years from when I was a little kid. And his barrister said to me, you was jealous because your mum had 2 more kids to this man. I said, are you kidding me? I love my little brothers. Are you crazy? And him, Mr. Pedo, on the left laughed. Yeah, he laughed. He went, and I looked right at him and I said, you fucking idiot. I love my little brothers. And I do to this day. I love my little brothers, but you know what? Smiley, they won't talk to me. Because he got 10 years, right? And in the UK, in the UK, they don't get like 50 years or whatever it is. They get, he got 10, it was a unanimous decision, and he got 10 years, right? Because he was, oh God, I don't know, 67 or something.
Right.
But this man, 67, so he got 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
5 years for me, 5 years for my sister. And he went to jail. And he lived for 4 months.
Oh.
He lived for 4 months.
Wow.
So for all them years, of all them years, I mean, don't get me wrong, Smiley, I'm glad he's dead. I am. But 4 months, for fuck's sake.
I get it. I get it. But you can believe he's paying for it in the afterlife, you know?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. 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 4 months. 4 months. All that time it took us to get him.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Cheeky. I I went to see my little brother, the oldest one, about 3 years ago. I just turned up on his doorstep, and he came out and he was absolutely heartbroken. He was like, "Oh my God, it's my sister." Da, da, da. And he rang my older brother, and
Oh.
he came in an Uber, right? And
Uh-huh.
they were like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I said, "Look, I don't want to talk about your dad or anything. I'm just here to see you both because we had a good relationship." A good relationship. And then the next day, both of them ignored me.
Well,
I've never seen them since. And I love them like they were my own kids.
maybe one day, Angie, you know, they will realize, and, you know, y'all can just get over it. And I know you are, but maybe they can get over their grudges and
My
realize that life
little
is just too
brother,
short.
my little brother could, Smiley. My youngest one. But it's crazy because it's the one younger to me, Alan. He's the one. He rang me before we went to court, and he said, "Sis, please drop it. Please don't go ahead with it, because my dad will die in jail." And I said, "Alan, I'm so sorry, son, but I can't. I have to do what have to do. I have to. And he was right.
Yeah, but that's not your fault. You had to do again what you had to do. And listen, that's, you did the right thing. You did the
Yeah.
right thing. That man's life, you know, his days was numbered before when he was born, and that was not your fault. Okay, that was going to happen whether he was in or out of jail. The choices he made was his choices, and the bad choices that he made, you know, that's on him. Okay, but that didn't have anything to do with him going to jail, him dying in jail. Period. And your little brothers may not understand that, and they may see it that way, but one day they'll understand that. You may not be here by the time they understand that, but one day they will understand that. And you're I can tell you're a strong person, and that's just something that you're going to have to continue to be strong about and work on. And if you've not had the therapy or support like that, maybe, I don't know how that works in that country, but maybe, you need to try that. But you continue to be strong and don't let nobody get you down. Nobody. You've come a long way all of these years, and you can do it. You can do it. Don't let nobody make you think any different of yourself. You didn't do this. You didn't put yourself in this position anyway. You were a
Oh,
child, you know.
wait, sorry, Smiley, 1 minute. Do you know something, Smiley?
What's that?
I love listening to you.
Oh,
I think you are awesome. I always listen to you. I might be saying, don't you say that, or but Smiley, honestly, I do think you're awesome, and I think you're out here for the right reasons. And all these flipping people that say, oh, Smiley, she's this, she's that. I'm like, no, she's not. Shut up. But listen, Smiley, honest to God. Right, I'm over here. Wait, I'm coming back.
I didn't hear the last part. I didn't hear the last part. It was.
Oh, sorry. Do you know how much you've just made me feel like, do you know, right? I'm gonna have to move you off me. Smiley.
Oh, well, I hope I helped some, and I really hope that I did some good. I don't know, but I appreciate you telling your story. I know that, and if I helped you, then that's worth everything,
Smiley, if you ever want me sober, I mean, it's laughable, but it's not really, because I need to get a grip. But, Smiley, if you ever want me sober to come up I'm not on screen, am I?
No, you're not.
No. If you ever want me to come up on your channel, Sorbet, and talk about my experience, because I believe that I know, right, that missing children and whatever, Sebastian, whatever, like it's all different circumstances, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? But there are different reasons why that happens, Mary. And you know when they say Sebastian run out the door with barefoot, he was barefoot. Like I don't necessarily believe that, right?
Yeah, I don't believe he ran out the door.
I don't, but before they put me in that psyche ward when I was 11, I was grounded. You know what grounded means, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
I was grounded for, I don't know, something or other. And my bedroom was like near the front door. Like it was the bedrooms and the kitchen was on the bottom level.
Right.
And the living room and whatever, bathrooms and whatever, was on the first floor.
Yeah.
New built houses, yeah. In Scotland, in whenever, 1980 something. And my bedroom was right next to the front door. And nobody was home apart from me and that my mum's husband. And I'd been grounded. Had to stay in for some reason. I don't know, I can't remember. But my friend came to the door, knocked on the door, and I was right next to the front door, so I answered it. And the living room was upstairs, and all the windows were up, and it was warm. And she said, "Are you coming out? And shall we going out?" You know, and I said, "No, I can't." And she said, "Why not?" I said, "Because he said so." And he heard me. And he came downstairs to the front door and he told my friend to fuck off. And she did, because she was scared. And then he dragged me into my bedroom and pinned me on my bed and tried to strangle me. And really tried to strangle me. And I kicked him in the balls. And he went flying back towards my wardrobe. And I took off and I run out the front, not the front door, the back door. I run through the kitchen and out the back door. and I ran all the way to my grand's house, my grandma, with no shoes on.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I didn't have any shoes on. I didn't have any shoes on. And I couldn't stay to like try and get them on. And then the next day, no, that same day, well, we're talking about when people didn't have phones.
Yeah.
We didn't have mobiles around. It was just like in the house. So I've run all the way through this park, this big town park with no shoes on, and all the way to my grand's house. And you know what happened, Smiley?
What?
I knocked on the door, and my gran came to the door, and I said, "Hi, Gran." And I come in because you tried to strangle me. And she said, this is my mum's mum, right? And she said, I don't think so, Angela, because you might accuse one of my sons of doing something.
So she didn't believe you.
Well, no, but oh my God, I'm so sorry, everybody that's got to listen to me. But it's the truth.
It's okay. Well, it's 6:30 in the morning where you're at, Woman's Warrior said. So maybe I think you might have had a little bit too much to drinky.
Yeah.
So maybe you should go to sleep and sleep on it a little bit, you think?
Yes. Absolutely.
Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're getting tired. But I do appreciate you coming up.
It's the truth, though, Smiley.
We believe you. We do believe you.
Everything I've told you is the truth.
No, we believe you.
And
it's okay. Yeah, we believe you. We just, we know you're tired. We know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot for you. Again, that's strength, it is strength, and it's a lot you've had to carry over the years, but we will be praying for you.
No.
Excuse me.
No, listen, don't pray for me. Pray for Sebastian. And
We pray for Sebastian. Look, we got plenty of prayers. We got plenty of prayers to go around.
Listen, I appreciate everybody. And do you know what? It is 6:33 in the morning, and I have, like, I do drink, and I shouldn't as much as I do. I'm actually going to move over the next week or two, and I'm moving to somewhere that has a waterfall trail. And I think it's going to be awesome. But Smiley, listen, thank you so much for letting me vent, even though I've been crying and whinging and mourning. Everything I've told you and your chat is the truth. And children need to be protected because my mum did not even know, even though she was a victim herself, she did not protect me. And
Right.
she should have.
Yeah, we
And
have
I
to
have,
listen to our kids. We have to protect them. We have to listen to them. Absolutely.
yes, exactly. I have 3 grown boys now. I have 3 grown boys. Well, the men. They're not boys. The men. And I have 3 grandchildren. And I love the bones of all of them. And I can't help it. I can't help but feel like a victim. But I'm also not a victim.
Nope,
If
you're
you
not a
know.
well, no, you're not. You are a survivor. That's what you are. You're a survivor. You know, you have survived the storm. You have weathered the storm.
Kind of Smiley. But anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody so much. I'm gonna let you go. I have been nagging your ear off for God knows how long.
Well, thank you.
Smiley, you're a blessing. Smiley, you're a blessing. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and um, thank you for coming up and hugs to you. Okay, you sleep good. Okay.
Hugs to you. Can you kick me, please? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
I will. Thank you. You have a good night. All right.
And you.
Bye. Okay, that was very strong of her to tell her story. So I appreciate her coming up. But yeah, I appreciate that. Prayers to her, everybody. That was very interesting. So everybody say prayers to her. I think I knocked myself off of the Britney. Actually, I think I sure did. I don't know. I don't even think I know how to get back to it. But I want to say, I will say this. You can go in, you can go into my live stream. It was from about 2 years ago, and actually watch the full live. We were about halfway through it, and we've been on here a couple of hours, so I'm sure y'all don't want to sit through about another hour and a half. But since it was National Missing Children's Day, I did want to put Britney back out, and I wanted to get her name back out there. And, you know, Haley and Sebastian, of course. I will, Kiki. I will. Sometimes I can't chew bubble gum and do the same thing, 2 things at once, and concentrate. So I apologize. I will check my emails when I get off of here. And you got to remember, you're a lot younger than me. So no, Angie, you did fine. You were not embarrassing at all. But I do want to say this about Britney and her case. I do want to close this up real quick. But it was believed, I want to say on that Britney was both a victim and a potential whistleblower, and to those horrific crimes. Okay. And despite all the extensive searches and investigations, Britney still remains missing. So Britney's story is so heartbreaking. And even though it's heartbreaking and horrific, there, y'all heard there is this documentary out there. It's somewhere out there. I don't know if it's back in circulation or not, but it is out there. It's called Monster in the Shadow, as you heard. And I don't know how we get it or how we watch it, because I don't know if Peacock renewed it or not. But you heard Chessie, see bits and pieces of it on through YouTube at different places. So just look that up and maybe you can watch little pieces of it. I don't know. But again, Donald and his wife Wendy was running this whole entire outfit. And I believe, in my opinion, from what I had gathered, I would say Wendy, I agree with Chessie and say Wendy was pretty much, I feel, in my opinion, Wendy was jealous of Britney. And I think she might even had a hand in her own husband's demise. That's my opinion. They think Britney was about to expose the entire family SEX trafficking ring. And again, as we know, this went on for 3 generations. So that's what I believe. And every single one of these kids in this whole entire world deserve to be found. But I pray, Beck, that Britney is found soon, regardless of what happened. Her daughter, her mother too, her daughter, and I personally believe her mother, but her daughter deserves the closure. And it just broke my heart to hear Chessie say, when her daughter asked something and they say they don't know, her daughter says she feels like they're not telling the truth. So it is sad, and don't ignore signs. If you think something don't feel right, investigate it a little bit further, even within your own home, and talk to your kids. Definitely. That's right. Evil walks among us all. Keep your children and your grandchildren close. Don't turn that blind eye. Listen to them. Listen to all children. Okay? So, anyway, I appreciate very, very much that y'all spent a good portion of your day with me. I was on several times today. And I appreciate Anne coming up here, being strong enough to tell her story. I appreciate each and every one of my mods. I appreciate my subs. I appreciate anybody coming in and out watching the replays. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you all. And I hope you get some rest tonight. And each and every one of you have a beautiful day tomorrow. Hello, wait, what? Wait, what? You're late. You're going to have to rewind, honey. Rewind. Smiley is about to head to the bed. So I will talk to you later, and y'all have a great night. And I will see you tomorrow, and I will talk to you.